Hello, welcome back to whatever this is.
This is the You Don't Have to Be Right podcast, Jodo. I am offended that you, on our third episode, have already put in this little effort.
I'm your host, Commander Cuppy, and with me is Rage Jodo.
Are you okay?
Welcome
Are you
in.
like? Are you okay today? Like,
we're already sponsored by.
Oh my god! Don't.
No one in,
No, we're
in
not.
particular.
No, we haven't even turned monetization on Spotify, which is something we can 100% do. But it starts. It will roll like.
Who would monetize this?
I mean, it just gives random Spotify ads, but like, no, we're not. Don't
No.
say that joke in the first 10 minutes of this podcast. I know you want to, you little shit, but holy cow.
Oh,
So, Joe,
hello.
I think with our over-preparedness of last week, this week we have done nothing.
I've got 8 topics.
Oh shit! I've messed up. Hold on. Let me look at mine. Did I make any topics?
Oh Jesus!
Oh wait, I have 3 actually.
Oh, wow.
From last week. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Cool.
Huh?
I forget. I always forget because I don't actually have to research anything. Like
Mhm.
when I was on my last podcast, I would research stuff and try to like make sure I was actually like knowing what I was talking about. But
Oh, here we
in
can
this,
just be fucking wrong.
I don't have to with this podcast.
It may in fact be part of the whole shtick of the thing.
Yeah, you're right.
know.
I could just totally bullshit and then just like have our comments. No one watches though, but like when people start watching, which
Absolutely
will
not.
happen, we can just get like that will flame us. It's fine. So it's totally good.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to. Oh, cool. No, so I don't actually have to. So when okay, never mind. That's I was like trying like, do I have to like change the topic of the stage? I don't have to because it's just the podcast, dude. I'm
Oh.
learning how Discord works. My apologies.
I mean, these things happen. You need to fail every now and again to learn.
Bro, I feel like an old man on Discord because
I just feel like an old man. No, you just stop that sentence. I just feel like an old man.
Well, no, I feel like an old man on Discord because when the community servers came out, they like updated everything, and I don't know how to use Discord anymore.
Yeah.
Like the whole stages thing that we're doing in Discord right now, no idea how that works. Like I just push buttons and it works.
Yeah.
I mean this is the first server I've ever made off the bat that was a community server, and it was absolutely annoying. Like
Yeah.
every time I make a channel in the server, it's like you have to re-click the show all channels, otherwise you just can't move any of the channels. It's like you can't see all the channels, so you can't move them, even though you're the owner of this server.
Which makes
I'm
no
not anymore.
sense.
I made you I gave you the admin right thing, so it
Oh shit.
took away my crown, so you can
officially
completely you can drive this thing into the ground, brother, if you want.
Yeah, guess what's happening? Here we go.
Well, I mean, you're doing it without you don't actually have to do anything in the Discord to do that. So,
Yeah.
just,
I could just sponsor us by people who don't sponsor us. Man, I could just anybody could sponsor us.
That joke. There's people don't know. There's a joke that happened in the kitchen upstairs right now.
They don't need to know.
That is really, and I mean really, tickling Jodo's fancy.
It really is. It's because it. Okay, so I think it got on to when I was doing YouTube, when I was actually active in YouTube. Oh God, many years ago. People would always start like, this episode sponsored, and then they would go into this big long ad roll about like, oh, we're sponsored by blah 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 blah,
and there'd be explosions in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And it would be
to keep the enrichment center going.
Yeah, and it'd be about a third of the episode is just a fucking ad, and then you have other people who are like, oh yeah, and really quickly, we're sponsored by blah 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 blah. Oh, you should go check them out, and then it satiates the same company, 2 different ads. And
oh no!
And I'm like, well, so I don't understand. Is this one person just saying F it, or is this one person going like, they're going to give me more monetization if I make the whole video about them? So blah 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 blah. It's just, and every time I I would see that, I'd just be like, this stream sponsored by, just going off the handle, because it's just so stupid. Like I didn't come to look at a commercial, man. I came to figure out how to fix my toaster oven. Okay, I just need some
Well,
help. Yeah.
part of that's because and I'm gonna part of that's because just YouTube stopped paying.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm gonna really quickly here derail this entire conversation. Make sure you have enough recording space on your drive so OBS isn't just like your recordings is dead because there's no space.
Well, I'm sure I do.
I'm sure you do too, but someone else didn't.
Oh, nice.
So we have to back up anymore. I just restarted it. So
Oh, sweet.
anyway, I was just like looked over my screen. I was just like, there's no file space left. Ah, I'm a professional. Smiles.
I mean, we should just, get 80 terabytes for this thing that's gonna,
Yeah, no, it's definitely on the laundry list. But no, sorry, I want to get that one, taking that train back on the tracks. No,
This is a
when you were doing
train.
YouTube, that was the start of it. I derailed the conversation.
Oh,
So
okay, gotcha.
I was
Just like I
why,
did.
why you gonna like ruin everything, man?
Well, let me tell you, this is a story all about how I was born,
Oh,
and I just ruined everything.
you wait, what? That's not how this works.
Well, continue your story there, sir.
You were okay. No, so like I understand that YouTube stopped paying, so that's why ad like sponsorships became a big thing,
Sure.
and then like probably about 6 months ago, Twitch was the loudest about it, but YouTube kind of went like, wait, these sponsorships are taking money away from us.
You don't say.
And then they were like, they almost like tried to make like they put a bunch of restrictions on YouTube's for a while has had restrictions on their sponsorships, but
Yeah.
no one really no one really does it. Like as long as you're not like doing a full ad on like mid-roll ad on your like YouTube video, they don't care. Like you're not like playing like an advertisement from an advertiser on your YouTube channel. No one's probably gonna care.
Yeah.
And it's but it's just like when like them and Twitch like were like it's like, hey, wait, that's our money.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, you guys stop paying creators, so that's
Oh,
why this happened.
what do you expect to happen? People whose livelihood was the monetization that you could get on YouTube, and then all of a sudden, well, that's gone. You have to replace it with something, It's just
Like patreon.com. Did you know, Jodo, we
we don't have a Patreon yet.
Oh, I thought you made it.
Oh no, it's made. I just need to I need to go over some stuff with you before it goes live.
Oh, okay, that's what's going. So we don't. Never mind. We don't have a
Yeah.
Patreon. Do not follow us at Patreon.
Yeah, do not.
We are
do
not doing that.
No, not yet. Not yet. Anyway, Jesus criminy.
We'll talk about that after the show, Jodo.
Seems like a government-run organization to me.
What?
Our operation here, it seems like a government operation.
You mean it's not?
Oh, it's bad.
not running. It's
Yeah,
almost not running.
Yeah,
Like it's almost
going
we just have a
backwards.
30-day extension every like 3 days.
Pretty much.
Great.
Yeah.
Topical too. I love it.
Topical. Woo! Oh God. Well, who wants to kick things off with a topic?
I think you have 8, so go for it.
Oh God. All right. Well,
I kind of accidentally did one because one of my topics was just Discord is big dumb.
Discord is big dumb. I mean,
That was what I wrote.
hey, you right. I don't know what else to say about that, but
I think it was I put it down there last week when I was upset about all the stupid like no one
yeah.
having names in our Discord, and I was like, it's just if I turn streamer mode on, it's just r dot dot dot, which my name is right now r dot dot dot. I
Yeah.
thought I fixed it, but now it's apparently Discord has realized if you just copy and paste the same name, they keep it r dot dot dot. So I'm gonna change my name to like the real Rage Cubby or something just to
Please
hate
don't.
myself.
Okay, you know what? We'll start there. So
Oh no.
yeah, so there's a picture. For those of you in his server, why is your server image a shittily rendered discount Donald Trump? Please
Okay.
explain.
All right, hold on. Let me actually go look at it right now. I want to see
Mhm.
how bad this looks.
Yeah, from a glance, it looks like Donald Trump. like was rendered into a video game, and he's sitting there going, "I've got the best sword. It's huge. It cuts through many things." Like, why is that your picture? And why? Just answer for your sins.
Oh, okay, all
That's
right.
what I need for you to do.
It's a Final Fantasy 14
They
character.
rendered Donald Trump into Final Fantasy.
No, so what happened was what happened. You see, what happened
Uh-huh.
is
It all started.
I'm what?
It all started with.
It all started when I got a red hat and I put it on, and then just no. So um. uh
Jesus Christ.
uh so no, in Final Fantasy, where we are in the story, basically you are very famous, and like because you are well known as the hero of the realm at this point in all the local lands. And so I'm also a omni crafter gatherer, not who cares. So I'm doing basically there's a storyline where for the researchers of some area you're doing a bunch of little handicrafts for them. You're making a bunch of like sundries and stuff like that, but they have no idea who it was. So this is that guy's face
Uh-huh.
when he realizes he made like the world famous hero make a bunch of cat toys for him,
Mm.
and he's just like, oh. And
I
so
have to look at this again.
I took a screenshot of it of him being like, what?
because that does not look like that. That
It's
looks
his eyes are bugged out a little bit, but it's fine.
yeah, it just doesn't look good. How about that?
I'll change it for you, buddy. Don't worry.
No,
Next
you
week
don't
it
have
won't be
to.
there.
You don't have
No, it's
to.
fine. I understand that it's disconcerting to you and your what you want in a picture, so I'll change it for you, bud. Don't worry.
What?
I don't know.
I'm renaming your server name.
That why the cupboard's great. Don't rename my
I'm
server.
renaming the server.
I swear to God, if it's
The
the
real
cupboard
cupboard.
sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, I'm gonna be so pissed off at you.
Well, how else do we know that you're not sponsored, huh? Now that you are sponsored.
I'm not. I don't ever want to be. I turned down an offer of theirs, just like every other small content creator should.
That's fair.
Like, if you okay, so here's a topic I want to talk about. Every Twitch streamer or YouTube stream, anyone who streams,
Mm-hmm.
all they do, they all use something either. Most of them anyway use Streamlabs or Stream Elements.
Mm-hmm.
Streamlabs all local on your computer, kind of a scummy company, but they're working on their reputation. They're fixing some stuff
Mm-hmm.
when they got called out enough. Then you have Stream Elements. I don't know. To my knowledge, they haven't had any controversy. Well, they have a little bit, but Stream Elements is all online, less strain on your computer. So a lot more smaller content creators use it because, like, you don't have the best setup, then you can use it, and all it's all web based and stuff. But they have gone on a tear of sponsored stuff for tiny streamers. So they are starting to act like a agent almost, and where the point where they have companies come to Stream Elements, and basically Stream Elements knows all your stats, right? They know everybody's stats, and they just start handing out like, hey, here's a like if you have like 10 people watching you, or like even if you have 3 people watching you, you'll get like offers from Stream Elements to get sponsorships. And
Mm-hmm.
it's all the mobile games, all the Raid Shadow Legends of the world and all that stuff. And I think I just have said no to every single one because I just don't want like a channel to die. And I think every other small content creator really should, because it's setting your value as a content creator really low. And it's also like everything's based off of links, right? Where if your payment's based off of links and you have like 1 million people watching you, it feels less equaling when you have 8. It feels less of a like I'm sponsored by this person, and when you have 8 people, it feels like a hey guys, can you please buy my cutlery on Facebook Marketplace so like I can eat. It feels like that. And I
Yeah.
don't like it. You seem like the Facebook bomb selling essential oils. It's just play this game, guys. It's a lot of fun. It will heal you spiritually.
Yeah.
And I just fucking hate it. That is why I will not do it.
You know what? And that's fair. I mean, I personally am a proponent of not like saying I'll get sponsored or promoting anything that I wouldn't either play or that I wouldn't even use, something like that. So, if you're gonna get sponsored by a game you're not going to play, what does that say about you? You're just there for the money, right?
Well, it's kind of wild though, because if you are playing a game that you're a lot, you're also probably not gonna get sponsored by it
Mm-mm.
because they know you're already playing it. And like, why would they sponsor you? It's almost wild. Like there are some game devs out there who I don't know if sponsor, but like they'll take care of their streamers. Like they see their streamers are doing stuff and they're just like, all right, let's try to like like try to help these guys out. They plan events, they do all this stuff and do all the things, and
Yeah.
it's fine.
No,
I don't know.
absolutely. Well, I mean, come on, Destiny. I'm playing Gambit, and you're getting rid of it. So let's go.
Are they actually getting rid of it?
I mean, they're not doing anything with it.
That's true. They don't have a team for it anymore. That's it. Just kind of lives there.
Yeah, let's get Gambit Prime back. Do something interesting. Shake it up a little.
Spice it up a little bit
Come
with the
on,
gambits.
yeah, come on, Copernicus. Need some Gambit.
There are dozens of you out there, Joe, that want Gambit to be re-updated.
Don't say dozens. There's more than dozens.
Okay,
If Gambit Prime came back, I believe Gambit would be resurged. Oh, absolutely. Because most of the people that I talk to say if Gambit Prime was a thing, I'd play more Gambit.
But Gambit right now is basically Gambit Prime to my understanding, because there's a big boss you have to fight at the end. It's not just mo collecting.
No, I think it was different. My buddy who I work with over at Geek Squad, he was talking about it, and he said it is different. So,
all right. I don't fucking know.
I never played Gambit Prime, so I can't say if it is or not. But I like let's do it.
Have you played the Halloween event at all?
No.
Oh, you should. It's fun. There's
Probably.
a lot of it's basically just doing lost sectors, but they're spooky. It's Halloween,
Oh, okay. Oh God, yawn. Oh, I've got a topic for us. Let me go into this. So you were very fond about the idea and the name penetration testing. So I've got another story for you about pen testing.
I fucking hate you.
What? It's a good.
Keep going. Go on.
Yeah.
Keep going. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you fucking wow. Okay, this is sponsored by Rage Shadow Cuppy.
Rage disappointment.
Yeah. No, so it was it's something that goes back to if you treat your workers right, they'll be your best type of security. Like that was the whole point of this episode. If you treat your workers right, they'll be the best type of security.
Mm-hmm.
So the same guy went on 2 jobs, and he outlined this one really quick. He said, I got asked by a government agency, he won't say what, but a government agency that shouldn't have allowed this to happen because, it's kind of in their purview not to. He was asked to enter the building that they were securing, like it's their headquarters for this state. Go into the building, and you need to come into contact with the lead guy there, like the main guy. You need to say hello to him. You need to come into some sort of contact with him where you can say that's the main guy. That was his goal. Mm-hmm. So he was like, man, this is daunting. Man, this is going to be hard. And so the day that he was like kind of casing the joint, he saw a weird thing happen with the doorways and the layout of the building. So he decided, you know what? Let's just do it. So he walks, it's called tailgating, where you walk right behind someone.
Yeah.
So he tailgates someone into the main door. And then he realizes that subsequently all the security checkpoints are not manned, but automated. And they go straight back into the heart of the building. There's no twists, there's no corners, there's nothing like that. It just goes straight back. So he tailgated all the way into a conference room in the middle of the building and just opened the door and said, "Hey, what's up?" And the guy looked at it and went, "Really?" So sleep well tonight, because that's an agency that shouldn't have let that happen. Anyway, but he goes on to talk about,
well because I'm a small target.
Aren't we all? He goes into talking about if you treat your employees right, and maybe this it's like he said, like, maybe this wasn't a correlating issue, but if you treat your employees right, they're going to be your best type of security. He got called to like middle of small town USA, the Midwest, for a business who has maybe 100 employees, probably smaller than that. So his objective was to get in and basically upload a file to the mainframe computer, and it's just a file that says, haha, we did it. Really basic, just a Word document.
Yeah.
And get out. So him and his team kind of they go on a weekend because there's less people on the mid shift, and they're walking around and they're trying to gain entry to this one building. Well, this dude who was off duty, who lives in the town, it just some security guard who was off duty driving past to go to the store, looks into the parking lot and goes, "That's not right. Those vehicles don't belong there." And so he just heads in. They're in the middle of this building trying to figure out where the mainframe is, and he comes up and he's like, "Hey, what's happening?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we're here to we're with OSHA. We're checking on
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z." And he's like, "Oh, okay. I didn't hear anything about that." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, Frank, who is one of the other security guards, Frank was the one who set up the thing." And he's like, "I'll call Frank." And so he calls Frank, gets a voicemail, and then somehow they get to the point where it's like he name drops a guy who has worked in a sister company for like 30 years along with this guy, and he's like, no, Bob wouldn't do that. And just railroads him into like, oh, we're in a bit of trouble. So
We're fucked.
yeah, so he escorts them around. They pretend like they're doing an OSHA thing, and they get out into the parking lot, and he's like, all right, well, we'll see you later. So he starts to leave, and then they start going over to another building, and then he's like, hey, you're really, like, I can't let you guys in. What the hell's going on? So then they finally got caught. But it's just like, it's really funny that this guy could have just kept driving, could have said yeah,
MVP security.
oh
guard.
absolutely, he could have kept driving. He could have just been like, yeah, no, I'm off duty, obviously something's going on today, don't worry about it. But he was like, no, and he was interviewed afterwards, and he was like, no, I care for this company, they take good care of me for the past 30 years they have. So if I see something suspicious, even when I'm off duty, I'm going to go check it out. And it's just like, yeah, that's how companies should really take care of their employees.
I hope he got paid for that day.
Well, he got a like, I don't know, they talked to his boss, and his boss was like, yeah, no, that's really cool. So I think he got taken care of even more after that. But
Oh yeah, you don't want to let that guy go. Every
no,
other
absolutely
company's
not.
like, hey, you want to come over?
Yeah,
You want to be my
yeah.
security guard? Holy
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. So it was just like a cool little thing. It's like, yeah, if you take care of your company, then fucking
You won't get penetrated.
you won't get pens. Like, if you don't want to get penetrated, then there you
If
go.
you don't get penetrated, want to get penetrated, just get a security guard off duty to come and make sure you don't get pinned, and that's fine.
Yeah, and see, there you go.
See, hey, if you know what, I patiently listened to your whole story before I made a pen joke, and
Hey, you know what?
know?
Sometimes you got to get penetrated, and sometimes you got to prevent it.
man, I'm really glad.
I'm glad.
Really glad.
I'm glad.
Liquid's the only one in here
Yeah.
today.
Thank you, Liquid. For being
Anyway,
here. Well,
I see what it say. I don't have a who is on.
speaking of, we talk about being loyal to companies and whatnot. Corporations can go fuck themselves.
Not at all.
I work for a corporation.
You do.
I do, and it's unfortunate because it used to be a not corporation even within my small time with them, it used to be not corp orientated, like not like money, but now it has turned into that. It's just so
Really?
it's just I mean, yeah, it's just sad. Just like, okay, well, this is sad.
You're supposed to be the geeks of the squad, though.
Yeah, well, we're now the geeks of your wallet. Now pay for us to come in and do. I mean, obviously you got to pay for services, but
is that though because you like change like departments in it, or is it because really?
No, our whole thing was customer service and like customer satisfaction, and now it's very much so. Not, I wouldn't say, because our goal is still customer satisfaction.
Yeah, it has to be your service.
But it seems like we have less allowances than we used to have.
Everything has a dollar amount associated with it.
Exactly.
Okay,
everything has a dollar amount associated with it. But speaking of Geek Squad, someone tried to scam me as Geek Squad the other day.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and they called my work phone for that too.
They
So
called your like the oh like a scam call tried to scam your
yeah,
like
so
work phone.
my
Oh my
work,
goodness.
Geek Squad issues me a cell phone because I'm one of the field agents, and that's how we do everything in the field. And whomever had this phone before me signed up for some weird stuff. I had like the National Flag Archive call me, the National Stamp Association has called me
That's
before,
amazing.
and then this guy called me and said, "Thank you, this is like his name was Carl with Geek Squad." And I was like, "Oh, hey, what's going?" And before I even said anything, he's like, "Yeah, your warranty has expired, and we need to refund you." And I was like, here we go." And so I was like, so I played dumb, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, my warranty has expired. Really? What was my warranty on?" He's like, "Oh, your computer, sir. You have a Windows computer, correct?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do have a Windows
Oh my
computer."
god. That's so
Mm-hmm.
funny.
So he kept going through his scam. I didn't want to interrupt him. I didn't want to be rude. So I let him go through his
I
scam,
really hope you're just like
and
driving down the road with him on speaker in your van, just being like,
he was on my headset in my van, and I was just like, "Oh,
you're,
this is entertaining." And so,
you're
yeah. So I kept driving, and then eventually he gets to, "Well, are you in front of your computer?" And I was like, "No, I'm driving." He's like, "Oh, are you at work?" And I was like, "I am at work." And he's like, well, what do you do for work living?" "Well, I actually work for Geek Squad." And then he hung up the phone. I was like, "Oh, you don't want to talk to a fellow agent? Come on." What type of what type of what type of heck is that?
That's so funny.
It was
I
very
just
funny.
I can literally see like a guy. They probably also don't believe you work for Geek Squad. They totally think you were just trolling them
Oh,
or
I'm
something.
sure they're probably like, "Oh, it's a YouTuber." Oh.
But like the fact that you are sitting in a van in a on a Geek Squad provided phone in a
Mm-hmm.
Geek Squad van,
Yeah.
having a guy try to tell you your
Yeah.
warranty's expired is just I don't know why. That is the
It,
funniest shit
well,
to
it was
me.
just like, I was like, "Wow, this is the world we live in." Like, I I it's sad because they get a lot of people who believe that. I mean, I get a lot of
Oh, a
clients who
ton.
call me and say, "Hey, Geek Squad just told me they're going to charge me $600." I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not going to charge you anything. That's not us." And
You didn't
it's
give them money, did you?
no, and it's just like, God, it's sad that, yeah, it's just sad. I wish that people would not have to lie and cheat and steal to, you know, feel good about themselves or get their money. And maybe it's a situation where it's like, well, this is the only thing I can do. Because I've watched a few people who break down, these call centers, and sometimes it's like, no, they're doing this because they have a debt that they're paying off to these people, and which is
Yeah,
really
no.
shitty.
Yeah. Half the time the people who are scamming are also like they couldn't find work and it's the only work they can
No,
find and stuff. But
exactly.
yeah,
So it's not, I'm not giving an allowance to what they're doing, because what they're doing is really shitty. But you
it's
know,
just an understanding.
it's just, I understand why they're doing it. I wish they wouldn't. Hard wish they wouldn't. Wish they didn't have to.
Hard wish.
Hard wish. Wish they didn't
Hard
have
wish.
to, honestly.
Speaking of wishes, this podcast isn't sponsored by
God.
Mish
If
Mom.
if we ever got approached by wish.com,
I'd probably say no.
I wouldn't even hesitate. I would laugh in their face. I would laugh over email, however they communicated, and I would be like, "You've got to be shitting my dick. That is not happening."
I already have I have the the title of this episode. It's just bye bye sponsorships.
I'm just saying, like, if Yamaha wants to sponsor, I'm using a Yamaha board. I'm just saying, get that
Yeah,
Yamaha
or
money.
like if you want to sponsor a podcast that has like 10 viewers, Corsair
Oh,
looking at
Corsair,
you.
yeah, looking at
Yeah.
you,
Mm-hmm.
looking at Audio Technica.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Elgato,
Rode. We don't use your products, but
Rode.
we'd love
I actually
to.
really would love to use Rode. Rode is really good.
You guys send every YouTuber known to man that wireless headset, like the wireless like lab mics. We'll take this
Yeah.
podcast on the fucking road.
Sennheiser, your HD 600s, they're rocking on my head, bud.
We don't even have video set up yet.
Nope, but I could tell. I mean, Sony, your headset's rocking on my head, but I mean, insert brand here. Isn't that how it works?
We're just practicing for our brand deals.
Yeah, that's
This
it.
has become we've gone so meta with this joke.
Oh, so we've sold out already, is what you're saying?
No, because we used to do the first episode was like 70% self promotion,
Yeah, and
and
now
it
it's
was
just
and it was
promoting
like
random shit.
yeah,
God
and now
damn it.
and now we're just doing fake sponsorships.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it!
Oh my
I hate
god.
this fucking
Thermoflask, thanks for keeping my drink
podcast.
cold. That water is cold, let me tell you.
Stop! We're literally we're ruining all our chances of any brand deals ever.
I really, really highly doubt that we'll ever get a brand deal.
You need to stop being so pessimistic
It-
about our
Look,
podcast
if
right
I
now.
can be the pessimist, usually you're the pessimist. It's my turn now.
Fine.
Okay,
fine.
good.
I think that we just need to keep talking and we'll be fine.
Okay,
That's
I've got a
literally-
topic for you then.
No, I let me speak, god damn it. You little piece of shit. Look,
yeah.
I think this podcast is gonna be fine. We're just like the first 100 fucking episodes are us gonna be figuring out what to do in this fucking podcast. And then maybe not 100, but like 10, 20, whatever. It's all we gotta do is try to be ourselves, figure it out. Which leads me to my topic of I was
Oh.
watching I've been watching a lot of YouTubers because we're doing a podcast. I've been listening and watching podcasts, right?
Mhm.
And I was very lucky, and I was getting way too analytical about it. But we gotta do this to do this. Like I was thinking about, we should do this, and then like one of the podcasts was like, Look, we've been doing this for like 13 years, and we did it a long time with like no one watching." And they're like, "We learned to not try to be anyone in particular.
No.
Don't try to be them. What you want to be is you want to find something you incredibly hate, and just try
Mm.
not to be that."
I mean, that's easy.
That's easy. It seems easy, but then you fall back into it. And so like I'm not gonna tell you on the podcast what I hate and like what I don't want to become,
Mhm.
because like I honestly don't fully know. I don't watch a lot of podcasts, but like it's definitely actually I do have something
Yeah.
very clear in my mind.
Yep.
I said that, I lied. I didn't lie
Yep.
on purpose.
Yep. You know,
But
right.
yeah, I was wrong, and then I had a thought, and I don't want to be that. Cool.
I know exactly what you're referring to, and I
Do
agree.
you? I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking of an actual podcast.
I am also thinking of a podcast. Some
Oh,
would say it's
sweet.
an experience.
Oh, okay. Yep. Nope. We're right. We're on the same page.
All
Cool.
right. No, very
So yeah,
good.
I don't want to be that.
No,
So...
no, please, no.
Oh no. And
no.
technically we're already succeeding because it's not a solo podcast.
It's not a solo
I'm not
podcast.
literally talking to myself.
Yeah, and you're not agreeing with yourself, which is great. You know, you're on the right front. You're on the right show. You're on the right show for that.
God. Ugh. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. That was my words of wisdom about just
absolutely.
like why I'm okay. I don't know about you, but I'm okay to be on this podcast and watch it fail for a while.
Oh yeah, me too. Oh, absolutely. But to dangerously go close to what we hate, what do you think about the debate between having a national ID card versus state ID cards? Now, I bring this up because, such as European countries, they'll have a national ID card. Like you have an ID card for...
Oh, so you're saying instead of having a Washington state ID,
driver's license,
I would
you
have
would have
a America ID.
United States of America ID. And now the pros, that at least the people who say we want this, it's more secure than having to use our social security card, which there's a huge thing about. It was never meant to be an identifier, period.
True.
But it's a more secure. It's a way to identify people without having to have like 35,000 forms of identification. So when you go in to get your TSA pre-check, for instance, you don't have to have your birth certificate, your social security card, your passport, your driver's license, firstborn child's leg, everything,
I thought passport just superseded everything.
No.
Because like it's a passport. You already had to provide all the other documents to have your passport.
Yes, but no. Some places still require like you were born in the United States and you need a passport. It's like, well, I needed to, okay. But basically it would be a United States passport, basically. So going in between states, you wouldn't have to re-register like, oh, I'm a Illinois resident. Now I'm a, Kansas resident. You wouldn't have to change your ID. It would just be logged with your residence. And that's what people don't like about it, is that because it's going to be easier for you to get tracked by the government. I mean, or for people to find information, stuff like that.
My
It's an interesting topic.
I can tell you right now why I don't think it will ever work.
Oh, it won't work. I was just
I don't know why. Well, I can tell you. So it won't work because if you're not living in America, you don't really tell. But if you're living outside of America, you see it interesting. America is literally like it's one country, but it's really 50 different countries in one country.
Yeah.
Right. Like each of the states are very independent, and like that's why I don't think we'll ever have a national ID. Is just because of how are you going to get all the states on board?
Well, you won't. Absolutely not.
And so if theoretically, if you're talking about a state ID, I just think America's too big. It's too big for it. Like even if like it wasn't a bunch of states, it'd be like, yeah, I'm an American citizen, but like culturally, I'm really different from someone from Florida.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Well, look at culturally, we're really different from people from California, and we share a coast.
Yeah, and so most European countries, like I think just Americans are so dumb at maps that we don't realize how small some European countries are. And it's just like, yeah, they don't have a bunch of states in there because they're small. Like, you probably the smallest country I can think of that actually divides region stuff is like Japan, because like Japan's so dense that like they know which, and they do it by cities. Like I come from this region, which is really just like a city name and stuff. But they still have, I think they still have national ID.
I think they do.
But like, yeah, just America's just too many states, too much.
No, I get that, and it's annoying because I would like to not have to be like, here's my social, here's my blah 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 blah. And the other thing is like, Social Security compromisation. If someone says my Social Security number is 555128898, and then
bro, why are you saying my Social Security right now? What the?
Because I stole your identity. Oh, exactly. Okay. All right. All right.
I don't know, man. It's the dumbest joke I've ever had. I don't have people at home. I don't have one of those. I fully understand that, but I don't know. It's funnier to say than like, oh, my soul or something. I'm completely inappropriate. My apologies.
And you don't have to be, right? You don't.
Rude.
But the thing is that the ID, I'm trying to derail our train here.
No, I gotta keep us up. One of these days, one of us is gonna unknowingly say something really horrible, and the person's just gonna sit there and be like, I guess you don't have to be right. We might need to talk after the show,
but you don't have to be right.
Like, I need to tell you what that means, man. You have no idea what you just said.
Jesus. But no, yeah, it's just an interesting debate because there's some people who are really passionate about it, either for or against, and it's
bro. I think Washington, Oregon, and Canada should just become its own country.
The all of Canada? How about just?
I'm sorry, not Canada. I said Canada, didn't I? Washington, Oregon, and California.
Well, should be our own country. Alaska and Canada, like the Ontario.
Canada or whatever. What's that thing called? There's a name for it.
Cascadia.
Cascadia. Oh my goodness. That's a wild idea that would never happen.
No, because there is a clause that the states cannot leave. It's
well, it could happen, but the government would have to be shut down for more than 30.
Yeah.
If the government's 15 minutes late to the class,
that means we get to leave. Jesus Christ.
You can blame AP for that one. He does it all. He makes that joke all the time.
I mean, it's a good joke. I like it.
It's good. It's good. It's his fault.
Speaking of being sponsored by Sennheiser, which we're not.
Why?
What? I said which we're not.
Yeah, but why are you okay, go
Because
ahead,
I
carry
want to talk
on.
about high-end headphones versus entry-level headphones.
Okay, yeah, sure. Show
So,
how much more of elitist we are than everyone else in the podcast. That's fine.
elitists?
Yeah, we're
My
elitists,
computer
Jono.
can't run half the games I try and play. What do you mean elitist?
Well, maybe if you didn't spend $600 on a pair of headphones, you would have a graphics
I didn't spend $600 on a pair of headphones, you dick.
card.
Jesus H. Mary and Joseph.
Wow, bringing them into it.
Yeah, well,
Wow,
this is bad.
I'm serious. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Do we have a pastor in the house? No, we don't.
You know, he's not a
uh,
pastor.
he's close enough.
Okay, fair.
Um,
Carry on, Mr. Sennheiser.
oh my pog cells. All right. So, uh, going from a quote unquote gamer headset,
So what was your headset? So okay,
an
for the
Astro A10s.
for the listeners at home, Jodo has a pair of very nice Sennheiser uh HD 600s.
And yeah,
Yeah, and they are if you don't know anything about headsets, they are a very nice open-eared headset that is like the if there was a referee for like how a headset's supposed to sound, it's those pair of headphones.
they're very nice. I really like them. The open backness, just they're a good headset, very good headset. Now base price they're about $400. I got
Yeah.
mine for a half off on I think a Prime Day or something like that. Um,
It was a post-Christmas sale. I remember
yeah,
getting them in like
something like
January.
that. Yeah. Now, compare those to my Astros that I had. Now, I really liked the Astros when I had them, and I really like gamer orientated headphones, I guess we could say. Like, it, I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say, but gamer orientated headphones, they're like bassy, punch you in the gut when you're trying to fire your gun in Call of Duty. You know, they have the built-in headset, which I don't think I don't think a majority of people use? Question mark.
Not more. I think when like
Yeti came out.
well I always think about what was the headsets I always used with the Xbox way back in the
Oh, the
day.
clouds.
No, it was
Turtle
what were they?
Beach. That's it. Turtle
Turtle
Beach.
Beaches. Like when Turtle Beaches were out, that was like in the '08s and stuff. That
Yeah.
and like online gaming had just became a thing. People were using those headsets because that's what was there. And like when you have a console, your choice of headphones, at least probably until the PS5 and maybe the 4, because you can just plug anything into that now,
Yeah,
pretty much.
absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
Anything that doesn't need a driver.
yeah. Your options are really limited. So
But what I'm getting at is like going from the audio quality from that to what I have now is just it's so much better. Like I'm so much happier in my HD 600s and going back to I was listening to a set of Astros at my buddy's house and I was like how did I live with this? And I'm not
well,
trying to sound like a dick, but it's like I put on the Astros and I listened to a piece of music that I know, and I'm like, man, I can't hear half the shit that I'm used to going on in this piece of music. And it's just impressive that there's so much hidden there when you have a muddy set of headphones compared to when you have something that's crystal clear. It's interesting to me, you
well,
know.
you had before your jump from Masters to this, you had what's the headset your wife uses upstairs?
Oh,
Uh, it,
yeah. The K20s, the
yeah,
AKGs, which are also open back and they're actually pretty cheap. They're like $40.
yeah. And
Um,
now we've almost made this entire house get off of gaming headsets
I think we have,
because
haven't we?
yeah, well, I don't know if you want to consider my old pair because Riz uses my old pair of headphones that are a Audio Technica. So no, that's not gaming.
No, Audio Technica. I don't think that would be close.
They're Audio Technica. They're like the rip off of the Herder 600s. They're not nearly as good, but
Hey, they
they
work though.
they're really I miss them. I haven't worn them in like it's really nice to like if I'm playing games I almost prefer that headset because it's like the highs are so much better in it. But I switched to these Sonys. The Sony, what are they freaking called? They have the Sony name. So the MD MDR 7506.
which are closed
The
backs.
they're closed backs, and they are their studio headsets. So like a very flat pair of headphones.
We
like,
both have reference headphones
Yep.
for clarification.
Yeah,
So-
and so, but it's very good because when we're editing this podcast, besides like doing a phone test for audio, it will probably be what you hear on your computer more than likely. Like, at least it won't be like largely different, especially with these headphones because they're so like there's barely these. So we're big audio nerds, I think is what we're both discovering right now. So if you look at like a sound profile of both of our headsets, they're basically Jodo's has a little bit more in the top ranges that he doesn't hear. No, he has a little bit more he hears in the top range. I have a little less. And then both of us just have a tiny bump in our bass, but we're pretty much flat besides that.
yeah,
So
and reference headphones are flat for reference.
yep. So we
yeah.
are hearing what's actually there.
It's for studios to basically mix the best music for resale.
I really want a pair of those skull candies though.
The ones they have the bass slider.
The way they have a bass slider that just like
You're gonna blow
like
your
do you want to rattle your
You're
skull?
gonna blow your head out. You're gonna literally pop your eyes out of the socket.
But I want it. I want it. Like it'll be a nice thing to experience before I go blind. Like you know.
I mean, sure.
For- I'm so glad you caught on to watching Ding Pots.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
I'm so glad.
absolutely. This is an
it's-
episode sponsored by Dinkpods. Not really,
No,
No.
I don't.
but we both
no.
love him.
Don't sully that man's name.
Yeah, we love him. He's wonderful.
Don't sully that Australian's name. He'll be sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think fucking I'm shocked at how much this whole house has just audio high quality headphones because Hellboy, he was huge into the gaming headset. He loved his Astros. And I
Yeah.
got him dude, it's like the most popular streamer
Yeah,
headset
DB
now.
or no, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I can't remember.
Yeah,
the name,
but
though.
you look like a pair of coconuts on the side of your head. Like
Yeah.
like and it's just like I got him those because I wanted to know what they sound like.
I don't think I'll go back to close back.
Really?
I just love open back so much.
I like closed backs because it's like the bass you get is so much more. Like it's really nice. Like you get more like it's still flat like yours, but like I get more bass just because it doesn't all the bass doesn't escape the headphones.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's because I like them each for each. I want to get the pair of those headphones that get handmade in New York. That have like
Oh,
the on-ear
yeah.
headsets. Oh my god, I want one of those.
Yeah,
They're so
those
crazy.
look very good. Yeah, I would.
They're just wild sounding too, and one of them is made with like hemp and all this stuff. It's just a wild company. They're like
Yeah.
$90 or something. I want one so bad.
Yeah.
This has just become the headphone podcast now.
Yeah,
Sorry.
welcome to the headphone podcast.
We got two pairs between our ears. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
That's a segment. Anyway,
Yeah.
you have anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, I think we're kind of winding down, aren't we?
No. I mean, we pulled for 2 hours just last week, which was honestly really impressive.
Yeah.
I think just this week is it's the third week of anything, right? Like we're like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, that's fine. It's a lull week, and that's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, I do have something I want to talk about with that I've noticed. This is I don't know if this is before Baldur's Gate came out or after.
Uh-huh.
I feel like low dice. So and I've gotten a couple 0.5 campaigns out of my way for this big D&D campaign, the Pathfinder, not D&D, Pathfinder campaign I'm doing. And I've started to feel like if people low roll on their dice rolls, it's like it's the equivalent of DM gaslighting. Like it just gives me permission to gaslight people, which I
Well,
think is just
yeah.
terrible.
I think my favorite thing to do as a DM, you roll a natural 1 on an investigation check that you think is really critical, and I give you the honest answer. I give you the absolute honest answer. If there's something that looks like it is poisonous and you roll a natural 1 and I go, it's absolutely poisonous. I'll look you dead in the square in the face and go, you think it's absolutely poisonous. Because now they go, well, is it poisonous or is it not poisonous? well, now what do I do? And so and then when they inevitably get poisoned, you go, it was poisoned. What do you want? You were right.
You know what's also absolutely wild in Pathfinder?
What's that?
Like we experienced it a little in the house campaign, but I know how to deal with it more. There's no investigation rolls in
No,
Pathfinder.
no.
It's all based off of like his investigation is specific in Pathfinder, where um basically instead of having like I roll investigation of the room. It's like you're not skilled in all knowledge. Like it's more specific. So like if your perception's bad, you won't see it right away, but like eventually just naturally you'll find whatever you're looking for. And then like you have to roll like an arcana, a society, a religion and all that type of stuff. It makes those arcana religion stuff, which a lot of the times in 5e gets overshadowed by investigations. you know,
Yeah. Investigation really, well, it's a catch-all. It's a catch-all.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate because it puts a lot more weight on perception, I feel like, in Pathfinder. But because so like when you're like, and I'm just discovering this because when you don't have a full party, you have like two characters, neither of them are very perceptive. It just shows really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be fine when I have the full group because we have a druid, so they are very wisdom, very perception based. And it's just like I see all,
Yeah, well,
I
that's a
see
druid.
everything.
That's a
So
druid for you.
yep.
But no, I really like doing that. I mean, for instance, you know, I think I can't remember if it was I can't remember what campaign it was, but it was D&D 5e. 5e I think was just fresh. It was just the core rule book. And I think Xanathar's just came out, so it was just after um just a little bit after D&D 5e released. And
This is
we were
before the big push to D&D, basically.
correct, yeah. And so we were playing a game, and it was in the middle of a battle. And I can't remember who nat one. Someone nat one to try and strike the guy. And the DM played it is that you killed him. He's dead on the ground. And the player's like, what? Like, yeah, you killed him. He used that nat one for the guy to act like he died and escape later. And
Ooh.
yeah, and so essentially we looted, scooted and looted, and that guy got up and just freaking ran for it. And when we met him again, he had like summoned a bigger force of bad guys than we would have if he would have died. And we nearly died for it, but we eventually killed him. But it was interesting. It was interesting that not like
Interesting idea.
a nat one isn't like a critical fumble. Like it's a critical fumble because you let a guy escape, but it's not like, oh, you absolutely missed so bad that you hate yourself forever. And it's just like, no, you struck at him and you think he is dead.
Yeah, I think you could have done that back then, but if you do that now, your players are gonna be so suspicious and just hang out for like 20 minutes, and it's gonna be derail your entire game if you do that nowadays.
I mean, yes and
Maybe.
no.
I mean, it depends on the players, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can also like you can be like, you nat one. So when you bring your sword down, the guy bled out and died. Just describe it in a different way. I would still do stuff like that because then it doesn't just say that, hey, I was trying to get this guy to sneak away because you've naturally fumbled. It also allows your players to know that not everything is as it seems. If you fail something, I might give you the right answer. And I
That's
love
fair.
doing that.
See, you're totally right. Low DM. You've proved my point. Low dice rolls equal DM gaslighting.
Well, low dice rolls equal DM gaslighting, and also
Yeah.
low dice rolls equal players gaslighting themselves, because you just have to give
True.
them the truth once. And you have to be proven that you give them the truth once. Then you can continue to lie to them. So I tell them that's poison, they find out it's poison, and then I can just now say, okay, for the rest of the campaign, I can essentially give them what a natural one should be, like,
Yeah.
oh, that water is poisoned, you can't drink it. And now they have to sit there and question, well, crap, is it, I nat one and he said it's poison last time, it was, Like, do I trust him again, or is this something that I gamble on? So, and I love games like that. When games, I think the best games that I have have been a part of were very non-traditional uh D&D or other, uh and I say that.
I think traditional. I guess I don't want to say traditional. Organized play. I would categorize traditional D&D and Pathfinder is very boring.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I mean, yeah, well, what I'm trying to get at is like some of the best. So the best thing that I was ever in for tabletop RPG was definitely Star Wars Fantasy Flight Gaming tabletop RPG.
That's the
And
old one, right?
no, it's a new one. It's a new
Oh,
one that
okay.
has its own specific dice.
Is that what you're doing upstairs?
It's the one we're doing upstairs, but it was a different campaign, not this
Mhm.
one currently. But so essentially, the reason that it clenched as probably the best campaign I've ever been in is because uh, sure there was combat, sure there was Star Wars shit, but there was also this political intrigue where it was a balance of power that the players were trying to balance not only between themselves but also between the NPCs of the world. And it was very, very well done. I really I appreciate going beyond just we're gonna loot scoot and kill some people, because I'll be completely honest with you. Combat in tabletop RPGs is probably my least favorite thing, and it's because you're going along, you're getting this story dump, you're getting this lore, you're getting all this stuff done, and you're like, yeah, I'm really into the story, I'm really enjoying my time here, and then all of a sudden, well, hit the brakes, we've got combat for the next hour, and you sit there and you're like, okay, well, this is it I don't know how to describe it beyond just saying it just can stop gameplay, and it'll just put a huge pause into it. And then after combat, you always have to warm back up to that whole thing. Like, there was a very, very integral time where we were, I think, two of our player characters and then the DM was screaming at each other because we were in a fight, like an actual, not an actual fight, but the characters were in a fight. They were fighting about what's the best
Mhm.
thing to do. And then it went to a combat scenario. And so the combat scenario, it went and then it got done. And then after the combat scenario, it kind of took the wind out of the sails for the whole fight, because we had just done combat, we had just rolled some stuff, we had just and now you have to get back into being pissed off and angry, but you it's kind of
I
hard
think
to get into that mode, because for the last half hour you're just screaming at each other, and now you took a 45-minute break trying to roll some dice, and it's just, I've seen major disruptions come from combat. That's
yeah,
what I'm trying to get at.
as a DM I feel that, and I'm trying to like you'll see I think I failed that in our last house campaign really bad. Like in the first one I did with you guys, my first ever DMing, I feel like it was better because I tried to make all the encounters story based. Um where with this one the one that we've kind of hiatused on for now, it didn't work out as well. Um I feel like a reason why everyone likes Critical Role, right, is the DM flair of his combat experiences. His combats, Matt Mercer, bless his heart, his combat experiences don't feel like combat because he describes in every little way how they are like doing things in combat. So it doesn't feel like it breaks from the RP necessarily, right?
Mm-hmm.
His players are also very good because his players he Matt Mercer is such a good DM that his players genuine in every combat encounter get scared to like all shit because they think like they could die, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just him being a good DM. I feel like there's a balance of combat to like if you're pissed off and having a fight and then a combat encounter breaks off, you need to make sure, especially if you're a DM NPC, when your NPC does stuff, they like you say like say like the whatever they were doing in their fight, like after they do their action, you say they slash the store, but they're still like they stare at you and they shout something at you because you're still having the argument as you're fighting.
Well,
Fuck it,
I think
have
that
the
yeah,
argument.
I think that was the best combat that I was in that campaign, and it was basically a Star Wars Episode 3 Anakin versus Obi-Wan Kenobi style fight where
Mhm.
it was myself and one of the major Sith were going at it, fighting while everybody else was fighting a different little battle away from us, and we were just screaming at each other about how the other one is such a piece of shit. And it was very, very fun because it was basically a whole ass argument with some combat roles in it, and that's how to do it. I mean, that keeps my and I am only one person. There's other people that go, no, I live for the dice rolls. You know, I play with some people who go, I live for the dice rolls. The RP is cool and all, but I want to
They're they're
roll the dice.
gambling. They're gambling in D&D is
Yeah,
what they're getting their
basically, yeah,
gambling fixed
yeah.
out.
And it's like, okay, I can respect wanting to be there for the dice rolls, but I'm here for the RP. I'm here to play a character that I'm not. You know, it's power fantasy. That's what RP is. It's power fantasy, right? You want to be the big damn hero. You want to be the guy who saves the world. And none of us, let's be real, none of us are the person that saves the world. You know, we want to be the hero of the action movie. We want to be the law attorney that took down the bad guy. We want to be that center focused hero. And for me, like, combat is a part of that, but it's not the major part.
Yeah, this is why I don't like playing D&D. I like DMing it, or like I don't like playing tabletop games. I don't have that fantasy at all. I would hate that fantasy. Like I don't want to be the hero. I don't like power fantasy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I like the hero that struggles and shit like that
Well, that's
more
part of the
than that.
power. Well, that's part of the power fantasy is you struggle
Well,
to the point where you get so powerful, right?
I like to watch.
No, yeah, I know.
You know, I don't want to be that person. I like to see that happening. So
Yeah.
I guess that's why as a DM I'm disconnected from it. I am the, you know, the puppet master trying to make, you know, other people's power fantasies come true. And but I like world building, I guess, right? Like
Yeah.
that's more what it is. And it's
Yeah.
I realized because I'm an idiot, right? I have two pirates in my world that I'm making, and I had no pirate lore for where they were supposed to be. And I'm like, I'm an idiot. And so it's just like, how would pirates work in my world? And like probably within 30 minutes, I have like I think a page and a half of pirate lore of
Mm-hmm.
just like what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's just I like that so much more. And like I like making villains.
Yeah.
I like making villains. I like making heroes. But if I have a bunch of players who want to be the heroes, I rather have a world full of villains and have there be no heroes. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's fair. I think one of the coolest things that my friend proposed, and I wish we had done this, was I don't know what system he was going to use. I think he was toying with Fate, but he said it wouldn't work that well in the Fate system. But it was going to be a RPG where there were 6 of us at the time, plus the DM, and it was going to be a legal RPG. It was going to be 3 prosecutors and 3 defense attorneys, and it was going to be a court case. It was going to be just a dead ass court case where your whole skill base is like you're the investigator. You investigate into the backgrounds and whatnot. You're the lead prosecutor, so you're the charisma trying to, you know. It was a very interesting setup, a thing, and I think I'm not gonna lie. I think that would have been fantastic because all of it. I shouldn't say all of it, but 90% of that would just be RP. 90% of that would be you sitting there and actually pounding into the DM who is supposed to be this witness, and 90% of that would be you and the other team basically bitching at each other to try and make someone make a mistake. I think that is an intriguing idea for an RPG. To be completely fair.
you see though, that's you though. You this is why I was so like against you playing charisma based characters in my campaign. Like I won't the restrictions gone now because I'm a good enough DM I can handle it. But like you love to talk in campaigns, and I know that is some people's just biggest gripe is like, oh, he's just gonna talk and talk and talk, and not you specifically, but there's always every campaign has a talker,
Mm-hmm.
and that's totally fine, and you let the talker talk because that's their fun. But like, you have to, as a DM, every once in a while, you have to put a zealot in there that's just not gonna listen to you, you know. And the whole like, I think one of my favorite battles I ever did with you guys was the Battle of Ohay,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where like, it's a massive army fight, and so we're sort of turn based. We're like outside the scope of like D&D 5e, right? Because there's like hundreds of people, right? So I just gave you all like a few people that were basically your level at your class in your troop, and just like, all right, what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
This is what's happening, and it was meant to be more of a story kind of telling, because I had the plan, and because there are people from my next campaign that technically the new world was so I'm not gonna tell what actually happened. I had the plan that basically Ohio was gonna get overrun,
Mm-hmm.
and you
I pissed in
guys,
your Wheaties.
yeah, you did, it was just fine, and then you guys were gonna do this retreat to Fenica to make Fenica become, and then, like, my plan was, that means that's great. They have the city now. The city can become like the capital. It'll be great, like, world building for them and all this stuff. But that obviously didn't happen,
Yeah.
which has been great now because I have this historical moment in all my campaigns, because I'm having your guys' campaign be like the start of my world,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Not the start, but like, unless it's you guys specifically, like in the house, I will not have a campaign in my world that's earlier than your guys' story.
Oh, gotcha.
So, so now I just have this point of reference to basically tell everyone, like, because that event scarred the world,
Oh yeah.
basically. And so now I mention it, and everyone except, like, I think probably my pirates are the first ones that have no knowledge of it, because they're nowhere near it. And it's just like, now I have this great storytelling aspect, and I think that that all happened in a battle, though,
Mm-hmm.
technically,
Yep.
right? So battles like that, I think, are the best ones to have, where it's not just like, oh, we're like, as a DM, you need to have the killing giant spiders fight, right? Because I need you to expend resources, but you need to make sure you mix up your combats enough where people will spend resources on bad fights. Like, they won't be like, oh, it's just giant spiders. We can just mash these with our mace. No, cast a fireball on the giant spiders, because I need you to be weak for the next fight, which is story based. So it can seem like, you may lose, you may have to bargain, you may have to bargain with this person. You may need to do stuff to try to stay alive. That causes good RP in the fight. That's what I think with fights, how they should be. You have to have your dumb fight, but hopefully you have a wizard who can just cast fireball, and you're just trying to expend fireball uses.
I guess so.
That's the whole
Yeah.
thing, right? Like, you can't have, like, if you walk up to the big bad guy fully prepared with all your spells and all this stuff, and you're ready to go, like,
He ain't gonna be
it,
alive for long.
he ain't gonna be alive. But you make it so, like, and you make it so, like, you're traversing a cave. There's traps, because traps are extending this stuff. You and the whole time, like, the whole time you're in this cave, the like, somehow you have the boss pulling the strings of one of the characters to, like, they just, like, hear stuff, and it's like their backstory or something like that. That's absolutely wild, right?
Well,
That's what I
yeah.
love. I love character backstory of my things,
The
and
yeah,
that's
I'm a big back. Every character I've ever built has a backstory that is way longer than anybody else had cared to make. In the
I
yeah, I constantly will
I
yeah.
I also like, as a DM, though, characters with tiny backstories, because, like, if you just say in your backstory, "I'm a sailor," like, this is what fucking Matt did to someone, and I'm doing it. I've done it to other people for, like, if you just say, like, you take the perk of your D&D background, I'm gonna expand upon that like crazy, and, like, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna just have people meet you that you're like, and, like they're gonna be friendly with you, and you're gonna be like, do I know this person? Yeah, you know this person. Like, blah 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 blah. Do a recall knowledge check, and it's like, you just, like, and suddenly now we're in your backstory campaign, because
Mm-hmm.
people who don't really think about it. If you don't think about your backstory a lot, I will make one up for you.
No, I always deep dive into backstories for my characters because that's how I get into playing them. It's how
Yep.
I get invested in my characters, and that's just that's what I do. That's how I can play as a player. Now, as a GM, holy crap! Will I make a backstory for my bad guys? I'll make a backstory for my bad guy's sister and their grandma and their dad. Holy crap! I had a whole network of so the first game I ever DM'd, I went a little overboard, but it went okay. I had a whole network of like this family controlled this city because I limited myself to just a city. Um, this family controlled this city, and they've controlled this city for hundreds of years. And it's like, hereditary, you pass down generation, generation, generation. Well, little did I know that the family was a group of families that uh, basically would select like, oh, okay, you're the top dog, and then the rest of them would go into servitude for that generation. So that's how you get your serf class of this whole city, and no one talks about it because they're all magically bound not to. And so now we drop you in the middle of this, and so you're getting books about like Frederick Argyle, and you're like, who the fuck is Frederick Argyle? And then you go into, and then it's like, and then he was succeeded by Randy Thompson. And you're like, what? How would he get succeeded by Randy Thompson if Frederick Argyle was first in control? And then you unwind this thread. You just pull this thread, and it just starts unwinding. And then one of your characters who goes, I don't give a fuck what my backstory is, go, oh, by the way, your dad's Randy Argyle. Get fucked. And now everybody either hates
Yeah.
you or loves you, and you're like, oh god, because now
I love
you're
doing
supposed to
that.
be a slave. Well, you're not a slave, so guess who's going to come after you? Probably the people in charge. It's just stuff like that. It was a very long time ago. I wish I could remember more about it, but I remember doing this whole complex thing, and at the end of it, the guys who I was GMing for, they looked at me and they're like, how did this happen? I was like, oh, yeah, I don't know. We
Well,
just,
that's because half the stuff you say, it's like you just get an idea in your head.
yeah,
That's the other thing with me is like I have backstory and stuff, but I try to keep it like specific enough where it's cool. But like I really hate naming things because
yeah,
the moment I name something, I can't change it, right?
yeah.
But if you just have like a persona of someone's name, like you like have a fake name or something like that, then like your characters can find out that's their real name. Like, wait, I know that, and it's like then that's how that's how you make them related and stuff. That's why
Yeah, exactly.
that's why you saw me. My DMing. I struggle with names because I just hate naming things.
Naming stuff is a bane. I mean, I like Delta Green a lot as well, and Delta Green is like a quote unquote modern era. You can play it from like Vietnam to now because Delta Green, the company Delta Green, or the organization Delta Green started in Vietnam.
It's all paranormal, right?
It's all paranormal activity. So it was the hospital one that I sent you guys
Yeah.
through, and it's all about being. This is the other thing that I like playing is just a normal dude or a normal-ish dude who doesn't have any traits beyond what a normal human being could get. In a situation where it's like how like ET came down and chose violence today, and how am I supposed to survive this type of situations? And that's what Delta Green is essentially. If you go to the other podcast that I'm on, which I will plug, it's a Reroll Gaming.
What the fuck?
I know. I'm in their Delta Green campaign, which we are currently ongoing. I think the first episode just released on October. I think the 10th. I think it released the 10th. But it's there's 2 seasons so far, and it's just a fun like. It's a very fun modern day campaign because I usually do not like playing in the modern era. I find playing in modern era is kind of boring. Usually,
High fantasy.
I like high fantasy. I like. I mean, give me anything
Nothing-
space.
Nothing beyond musk. Oh yeah, sci-fi is cool too.
Yeah, give
For
me sci-fi.
It's either like sci-fi or nothing beyond muskets.
Yeah, no. If I'm playing modern fantasy, I'm playing something Tolkien-esque. I mean, to be completely fair, that's my high fantasy. So,
Yeah. Anyway, I think we should wrap it up because we've been talking about tabletop for like 30 minutes.
I mean,
We don't have to be right.
Yeah,
so.
this is the podcast, man. I don't know what you want from me.
I don't know either.
All right. Well, thanks for listening,
I think
guys.
it's time to wrap up the actual podcast here.
Yes.
Thanks
for listening.
Yeah. This one's gonna be we ruined all our brand deals / the boys talked about ATRPG. So.
Brand deals? Question mark.
Ruined all of them. They're all gone. None of them exist.
No.
Don't worry, we'll delete this podcast when we get famous.
We'll just delete
never
it in general.
It'll be here forever.
Yeah, exactly. It's a monument to our hubris. All right.
Yep.
Well, thank you. Take care. And goodbye, everybody.
What?